Thank you very much for the reminder to put on my microphone. So, welcome to round 5. We have Yves Vermeeren versus Sander de Rudder. We already saw Sander play last round. He is the Sydney class champion, and he'll be playing against Yves Vermeeren, the Merksem champion. So both these players started off with a free win and drew one game. I had no mana for the mic. So let's see. Both these players are on 10 points, so 3 wins, 1 draw, and they are playing on, I think it's table 2. We only have 2 undefeated players left in the room anymore. That's Tom de Waal and I think Robbe de Vilder. So we'll hopefully see Robbe de Vilder in the feature match next Thursday. And we're on our way. And apparently Yves is playing quite the aggressive deck. So Apprentice. I forgot which Apprentice. Inventor's Apprentice for Yves here. And following it up with a Sky Skiff. So a very different pace of play than what we've seen up to now in our matches. This is the first true aggro deck that we're seeing. So, from the chat, not able to defend my final place from last tournament in September, but cheering the Saint Niklaas crew on. You go, girls! I assume final place. The final place or winning place? Not sure who we're talking to. Great champion he is. Welcome everybody. And for everybody who is new here, who is watching because the Gentry Open is awesome but never heard of this channel before, don't forget to follow. We do a lot of Gentry content here and some Magic Arena and random stuff as well, but at irregular times, so following is free and really does help you out. Plus you get a cool little animation whenever somebody follows the channel. Whee! Welcome Sean. Okay. So we have impeccable timing. Yeah, I already had Sanders. Panic. Okay. Is that somebody bumping into our frame? I'll be back in a few seconds. Okay, so fixed that. We have a Renegade Freighter. No. Can't type anymore. Renegade Freighter for Yves, so a lot of pressure. Also a Pianalar. Pianalar being and supplying someone to crew, enabling that Renegade Freighter and the Sky Skiff. Sander has a bunch of answers though. Oh no, it's the other one. Sander had answers up to now and has managed to reach 5 mana for his Cloud Blazer while on a rather comfortable 14 points of life as we enter the mid game where Sander should have a lot more tools at his disposal. Allemaal aparte kassas. Ja. Als je product gebruikt, hoe bijhouden? Ik weet wat dat is, niet mee inzet. Ja. Oké. Renegade map. Voor Yves. And now the puzzling game of how the most pressure can be made starts. Pianalar giving him quite a few options here. Kieran's not there anymore, it's just Pia. I don't think that Sander read that Pia can give artifacts +1/+0 there. As he trades Cloud Blazer for a servo and some mana and a second renegade map, probably also not what Yves wanted to draw to keep putting pressure in this match. Sander in the tank, so looks like he's not really sure on what's happening. Yves isn't really putting out a lot of pressure, but Sander wondering whether he should jump the gun on that fumigate he has in his hand. But I think that the approach of the second sun is also there, and I also think that he has a window here, the time to actually cast it, especially with that fumigate out, to negate any damage that might come after. But he chooses to fumigate here for just one creature. That's interesting. So banking on Yves not having any creatures whatsoever. I would have played Approach of the Second Sun here. That's 6 mana, right? Or is it 7? No, Approach of the Second Sun. Ah, it's 7 mana. Okay, that explains. Thought it was 6 for a second. Yves reading the card that will probably spell his demise. 6 cards, approach, 6 cards go back. And now Yves is looming under the threat of the dawn of his second sun. And is also stuck without creatures. Probably wondering, how could this happen to me? I made my mistakes, got nowhere to run. In the meantime, Sander also has Nezahal, so gets 3 of his 4 rares and or mythics to influence this game here. Looks like it's most likely going to be a win for Sander, as Yves has no pressure and has no way to influence the coming of that second sun. Sander at a supremely healthy life total here and passes the turn. Not sure what he has in hand there. That looks like an Excellence Binding, and can't make out what the blue card is. Yves has I forgot the name of that thing. Night Market Lookout. Night Market Lookout. There we go. To at least equip that Skyskiff coming in for 2 damage, and then a Supreme Will digging Sander deeper into his approach of the second sun. Boom! Goes the dynamite. The sun arises, and he's playing against black-red aggro. No interaction there. Game 1 goes to Sander, as both our players will be going to their sideboards. Now let's have a look at our losing player first to see what he can bring in to fight back. I see 1 Inventor's Goggle, 4 Sweatworks Brawler, 3 Blazing Volley, 3 Bombards, 3 Final Rewards, and 2 Destructive Tampering. I'm very surprised not to see a single copy of Duress in this list. No, the rest is a hard aggro shell backed up with Unlicensed Disintegration, Lightning Strike, and Shock. So it's going to have quite some issues sideboarding against this control deck that features almost no creatures whatsoever. So those Unlicensed Disintegrations are as good as dead in this matchup, and he might want to just go for more creatures. It's also appears to be playing 18 lands, 4 maps, which might be a bit light as well. But he's currently undefeated, so maybe I have no clue. In the meantime, side event. In the meantime, the side event tickets, the sideboard for Sander has Essence Scatter, Forsake the Worldly, Negate, Sacred Cat, Sandblast, and Scribe the Mindful. Again, expecting him to bring in Essence Scatters and Forsake the Worldly. Forsake, in this case, to get rid of some vehicles, because you can expect some rare vehicles in these decks as well, and Essence Scatter, just because the primal win condition for Yves will be creatures. That means he can take out the main deck negates, and the rest isn't that easy. Maybe some of the control magic that's less optimal, so countervailing winds. Excuse me. Because I'm wondering, people in the chat, what's your favorite Gentry decks? What do you play? Have you played? Have you never played? Let me know. How did you end up in the chat here? What do you feel about the format? I want to know everything. Lay bare your soul. I want to hear everything. So we have electrical longboard and electrical skateboard in the chat. I'm getting really curious as to who those people are. Okay, I'm getting ready for game 2. Game 1 was won by Sander, the champion of Sint-Niklaas, against Yves Vermeire, the champion of Merksem. We have one fan for Blue Black Pirates, one Dino player. You're here to watch your champion Yves. Are you playing Boros Aggro Dinos or Gruul, more fatty Dinos? Hopes he gets some better draws next game. Yeah, he was completely neutered in his aggression once that PNLR got fumigated. So a questionable decision from Sander, but it paid off hugely. So who are we to say he should have done it differently? So Yves already going back to the sideboard. Like I said, he feels very land light to me, so I'm a bit afraid that he might have some issues with that. Did your regards reach Olivier? Not yet, I still need to give them. He's sitting away from me, but he's currently in a match, so I'm not going to interrupt that. 6 cards for Yves. 6 cards for Yves, crying, so he is keeping his 6 cards. Let's hope he has some more pressure and that we have a slightly more exciting game to watch here in the 5th round. A Renegade map. For Yves. We have a Night Market Lookout and an Apprentice. And an Inventor's Apprentice. So this time Yves does have some of that pressure he so desperately needs. I think this is the highest amount of 1-drops that I've seen in a deck for a very, very long time. Maybe mono red. Many mono red pirates trumps this, but I think it's going to be pretty close. Impeccable timing. No. Yep. Impeccable timing. Gets rid of the Lookout. Find that a surprising choice. since it doesn't actually have 2 power, so the Inventor's Apprentice is a better blocker. Then we have Sailor of Moon coming in. Oh. From the chat, after including Autopec Huntmaster, my deck was performing so much better, and now it's my Gentry deck to rotation. Yeah, it's in red-green dinosaurs. I think Autopec Huntmaster is, yeah, so much core that I can't imagine playing without it. Sailor of Mean's a very strong stop sign against Yves. He does have Renegade freighters that punch through it, and of course a suit of removal. Did have to sacrifice his Renegade map, so currently not holding, not controlling any artifacts. Welt fast engineer for Yves, so 3-3 for 3 at this time. Seems like he's struggling in his draws a bit again. Strategic planning for Yves, digging a little bit deeper. He's under no pressure whatsoever again. He's already discarding removal, so that can't be a good feeling for Yves, and I think I see that approach of the second sun already peeking in his hand there. And again, Yves not having access to any discard, can't really interact with that card, so his only plan is to just kill Yves faster than the sun will hit him. Ether Chaser. That will give Yves the opportunity to get an artifact on board next turn, so that Welt Fast Engineer will actually start being more than just a 3-3 for 3 and another Market Lookout. So we do have the creatures this turn, but missing the payoff a little bit. Countervailing Winds gets rid of the lookout at least. And a second Sailor gums up the board even more, buying time for that sunrise to come. Okay, so we have a bunch of enthusiastic Overwatch players in the room as well at this point, so sorry if there is some background chatter from now on. Yves sacrificing that Ether Chaser to make sure he gets that servo, which will be a lot more impressive, and has unlicensed disintegration online now, so you can save that Ether Chaser, but uses Lightning Strike instead. That's interesting. So the first strike of the Ether Chaser with the Lightning Strike, taking care of that silly Sailor now. 5 mana for Sunder, so Cloud Blazer. So Yves, even though he has been drawing the creatures now, he's having some trouble punching through Sunder, just getting those little pinches in has the land available for next turn, and we have unlicensed disintegration for the sailor, so that does 3 free damage. Token gets +2/+0. So 3. Yep. Sander dropping to 6. So I take it all back. Yeah, Yves very capable of putting on some pressure. He has 6 on the table right now. We got another Ether Chaser to make sure. Very nice play to make sure that he has an artifact for the Inventor's Apprentice. He has the energy to make an artifact for the Inventor's Apprentice to get pumped an extra power. It was already lethal, but let's see what Sander has. Ooh, it's a Torrential Gear Hulk. Flashed into play. Getting back a farm. So we have one blocker now. GG Hulk. Not just yet. Yves still has enough. It's just Sander really needs that 7th land here. Even just for the life gain on that approach of the second sun, but doesn't get it. He does have a cast out and Excellence Binding. No, he has he has the treasure. So he goes to 11 and the sun is rising. 6 cards, second sun, and we're ready to go. Yves is hellbent, yes, he doesn't have cards in hand at this time. He has 6 turns to get there. Sander does have a bunch of cast outs that he could cycle if he so wishes, so can play Excellence Binding and then cycle some stuff. Still has that Forsake the Worldly as well. Let's see how Yves chooses to put on the pressure. He can just attack with the Skyscape. Oh, he has Inventor's Goggles. Has his draw. Taps the servo to crew the Skyskiff and attacks with the Skyskiff for 3. So that's a 3-turn clock. Those goggles will fold off. I think that's the judge question at this point. Yeah, that was the question. So we should have like an approach of the second sun counter in play. 6 cards down. Dun dun dun. And that second sun will just be like, hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. Okay. Yes, it's crazy. Cards don't sing. I mean, what are you thinking? Come on. Okay. So Sander has not cycled anything to dig towards that approach of the second sun at this point, nor has he played the Excellence Binding. I think I would have played Excellence Binding on the Sky Skiff already. Market Lookout gets counter with countervailing winds, as Yves is setting up to repeat his attack from last turn, which as far as we know will be enough, but he has the Forsake the Worldly, so that was his play all along. And now Sander is coming in with that. He has Fumigate? Yeah, he has Fumigate. Otherwise that attack with the Gear Hulk would not make sense whatsoever. And now we're just set up to wait out that approach of the second sun. Another night market lookout, but that doesn't look like it will matter anymore. Sander can't lose. Yeah, apparently. I don't think he has a way. Like, the funny thing would be if he just doesn't get to 7 mana, but he already has it. Bishop Soldier here. We don't care. Okay. In the meantime, it looks like we have people in side events as well. So there's a sealed head-to-head, and apparently it's really hard not to run into the tent. So I hope the shaking will stop from now on. The people who were here just left. So, and the second approach, and there's the handshake. Sander goes on undefeated, is 4-0-1 now, needs to win the next round. Are you just putting table 1 into the feature match area? No, I'm not. This is actually table 2.